Bangerville 2 is what hip hop is supposed to sound. Welcome to another episode of the Mandi Show. All right. In this episode, we are going to be yapping about another album, a new album. I'm going to review an album called Bangerville by DJ Sliqe, hosted by DJ Sliqe. More on that later, but I've been listening to Bangerville 2 since last year, and somehow I think that the more I listen to it, I like this EP even more now than I did way back when it first came out. I keep going back to it, and I think that's the sign of an album that's really good replay value. And I think the reason also for that replay value is actually quite simple, a lot more simple than you might think. The EP is just a lot of fun, bro. And that sounds like such a basic thing to say, a basic way to describe a song or a basic way to describe music. But I don't mean fun as some kind of, backhanded compliment. I mean fun as in that is the entire reason why this project works. Bangerville 2, just to get into what the album is it's hosted by DJ Sliqe, and it brings together Blxckie, KindlyNxsh, and issi across most of the project. We do have a guest appearance from Kill Brady, on Balenci, right? But the EP itself is 6 songs, about 14 and a half minutes long, and Blxckie appears on every single track. More on that later, because that's crazy. That's just crazy to me. But one of the most important things to know about this EP is apparently how it got together. KindlyNxsh has said that basically the entire thing was just made in one night, one evening. Just him, issi, Blxckie, and Sliqe all together, just telling jokes, just shooting the shit as homies, having fun, making songs. And that session eventually became Bangerville 2. And once you get that little backstory, the entire EP makes a lot more sense. Because that's really, when I listen to it, that's what I get the sense of what the EP is. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a bunch of homies just getting into a room and somebody was just like, you know what? Let's just rap. There's no massive concept. There's no attempt to make this the most important album in South African hip hop history. It's just a bunch of homies rapping, trying flows, saying funny things, and bouncing on it. Whoa. Bouncing ideas off of each other. Hey, listen, I'm not trying to start any rumors, okay? But if doing that is what makes the, I'll be quiet. But yeah, other than being fun, I think it's also just it's another reason why it worked out for me is just because everybody involved is just really talented. That looseness just becomes, the personality of the project. You hear it immediately with the opening track, which is Mahhala Style. The song is probably the clearest introduction to what Bangerville is trying to do. If you want to know what Bangerville is about, listen to Mahhala Style freestyle. It's a perfect intro because it really sets the tone for what's gonna happen throughout the album. And they sound like it sounds like they're just saying a bunch of things, and I mean that really positively. There's this almost freestyle quality to where you can imagine somebody saying a line and everybody just in the room just bursting out laughing, and then we have someone else jumping in, and suddenly you have a song. It's ridiculous, bro. It's catchy. It has personality, and even more importantly, it sounds like the people making it are actually enjoying themselves. I think sometimes when we discuss hip hop, when we discuss music, South African hip hop music, especially because South African rappers, a lot of the old head type of rappers also have this tendency to take themselves just a little bit too seriously. But also when we review albums as well, we can get so caught up in trying to figure out what the grand statement is. What does this album say about society? What does this mean for this artist's legacy? Where does it rank in the discography? But I feel like some people, sometimes they just want to rap, and I love that. And because hip hop, I feel like hip hop has always had that element to it. people getting together, competing, just showing off and making each other laugh, trying to impress each other, trying to flow because somebody else did something that inspired you. I think that Bangerville 2 feels connected to that, and Blxckie is probably the person that is holding the whole thing together. Actually, I shouldn't even say probably. He's literally the thing that's holding this thing together. The reason why I say that is because there's 6 songs on the EP and he appears in every single one of them. And for me, that never becomes a problem. There are artists that if you told me that they were appearing on every track of somebody else's collaborative EP, I would immediately think, okay, this might get tiring at some point, right? But with Blxckie, I'm actually completely fine with it. It might be biased because I'm just like a Somnyama Glazer, but I also feel like Blxckie is one of those artists where you can almost ask him to do just about anything. You need a chorus, or you just hit up Blxckie. You need somebody to rap, bro, call Blxckie. You need somebody to sing, get all melodic, just call Blxckie, bro. You need somebody to come in and give the song just a little bit more energy, call Blxckie. You need somebody who can basically hold an entire project together while several different personalities are moving around him. I feel like you can complete the sentence for me, bro. Dial Blxckie. He's the anchor of this EP, and I think his versatility is a huge reason why the project can move the way that it does without feeling like 6 random songs that somebody threw together. He gives the the EP, he gives it continuity. How do you pronounce this? I don't know. I'll pronounce it however I want. But yeah. But at the same time, I don't come away from, Bangerville 2 thinking that everybody else was just standing around while Blxckie was doing everything. It's not a Bret Hart match. Trust. Actually, one of my favorite things about this project is Issi, because he really broke through. He really broke out for me. He was a standout artist, because this EP was really my introduction to him. I didn't know anything about Issi until he worked with Sliqe. I heard him before through one of Sliqe's mixes. Those very famous, very popular, I feel like those mixes from Sliqe are quite important for music in South Africa, really. But Sliqe played an unreleased verse, and that verse ended up becoming Issi's verse on Shake. And we all know how crazy the streets went. I just feel like you had to have heard this verse before. And I remember hearing that and thinking, damn, who the hell is this? And then I saw the guy, but I didn't know his name. And then the EP comes out, I hear the full song, and for me, Issi has probably the best verse on the entire project. There's something about the way he raps on Shake where he sounds completely like locked in. He's in that flow state where everything sounds easy, the delivery, the conviction, the swag, the style, the way his voice sits on the instrumental, his confidence. It's just the rhythm as well. It feels like he knows exactly where he wants to go before the beat even takes him there. And those are some of my favorite rap performances. You can hear, technical ability, obviously, but I don't want to sit here with a notebook and just hear it being analytical over every single rhyme. That's not really the most important thing. I want to be able to rap along. Yeah. I want to be living vicariously through his words, through him. I want to pretend like I'm Issi and living the life that he's living through the words, through that feeling. His verse is quite fun to imitate. It's one of the reasons why I became a huge Playboi Carti fan as well. It gives me that same feeling. The flow is very memorable. His voice gives the song character. And one of the purposes of a collaborative project like Bangerville is putting people into artists that they might not already know, and that worked for me. He really put me on, because I came away from this wanting to hear more from Issi, and I did, and I heard his EP, his solo project, and it was fire. I was not disappointed at all. So shout out to Issi, shout out to Sliqe as well, shout out to everyone that's involved in this. Shake has probably become the breakout song from the EP, especially with with the song continuing to get attention after the track's release. I mean, it had its own music video, so just to show that it's really popular. It was I would say it was the lead single, but my favorite song is Understand. If I could tell you, bro, that song it's ear candy, all right? It's ear candy to me. You hear the chorus. And you understand, hey, post the pinya comenta, pia pinya katenda, pakade tele Mandela. And then we have Blxckie's verse, we have freaking KindlyNxsh's verse. It's just fantastic, bro. And apparently, Understander was actually the song that they used to introduce Bangerville to. I didn't know this until the project came out. But before the full project came out, I really didn't know until I was like researching for this, for this review. But I genuinely love that song, bro. It has that quality where you hear it one time or twice and suddenly you already know when you're supposed to tap in, when you're supposed to come in. It feels interactive. And Blxckie gives you the line, your brain immediately wants to, respond. It's infectious. And this is something that this EP does really well. It understands that a rap song can be good because you want to participate it. You want to say the words. You want to do the ad-libs. You want to imitate the flow. You want to imitate the voices. You want to play it around people. Understand that is probably that song that captures the entire personality side of Bangerville 2 better than any other song did for me. And everybody, just sounds really comfortable. Just everybody is in their A-game, is in their zone. Nobody feels like they're forcing a moment. The song has energy without becoming annoying. The chorus is memorable. The verses keep moving. And when it does end, you just want to replay it again. You want to play it back. And that replay value is probably the biggest compliment that I can give this entire EP, like I said previously. Because the thing came out last year, and I've already heard it plenty of times. And somehow, this year I've listened to it a lot more on my commute to work, right? Guess what? Guess who's not unemployed anymore? This guy. But, there are projects that impress you the first time you hear them, and then they slowly disappear from your rotation. But that's really, I think that's a natural progression. But sometimes it happens because some songs are just good in the moment. Some projects are just good in the moment. Sometimes it's a natural progression that just has to happen. But Bangerville 2 is basically the opposite for me. The more familiar I am with it, the more I listen to it, the more enjoyable it becomes. Now I'm not gonna say the album is perfect. I do have one skip, and unfortunately, that is where Kill Brady comes in. Dan dan dan. Listen, I know Kill Brady has fans. I know he's really creative. He has songs that I like. I also know that there are things he does behind the scenes creatively that a lot of people rate. But when it comes to specifically him as a rapper, though, I can't say I've ever been sold. A lot of the time, I find him generic. I feel like he's playing a character of a rapper, and his music just doesn't really connect with me. But I do genuinely like his personality, and I think he's a really funny dude. But I don't hear enough in the rapping that makes me go, that makes me immediately go, yeah, you know what? Campined. I need more of this. Let's repeat. Can you put that Kill Brady on? I don't picture myself saying that unless it's scripted, And Balenci is one of those, it's basically the one song on the EP where I feel like there was a significant drop in excitement. Every other song gives me something I want to come back to, but Balenci is where I'm really like reaching for that skip. Maybe he should, I don't know, maybe he should stick to producing. Maybe that sounds mean, I don't know. But, or rather, I should just not listen to him. I think that's more fair. But I think I said what I said. The good thing is that the song is only about 2 minutes long anyways. And, when that is my biggest complaint about an EP, I think we're doing pretty well. Because outside of that one track, the project it's incredibly consistent. Mahhala Style introduces, the looseness. Baby keeps the energy moving. Penchis is crazy. What is it baby or is it Penchis? Baby. Epep tandem zimbawak, tandem yellow dancing guy, tandem gani walk. Yo, bro. And then Blxckie laughs on beat. It's just crazy, bro. We have Penchis, we have Understand Elf, which is my favorite song. Probably one of my favorite choruses there. We have Sliqe, which gives me my favorite verse from, the entire EP. And then you're done. And that's it, bro. 14 minutes. And honestly, I think the length also helps. They didn't overdo it. There's no time frame for the project to become boring. There's no unnecessary 17 song track list. There's no deluxe edition. When somehow 14 songs are added 3 days later. They get in, they rap, they have fun, they leave. That's what I like. You leave. Strike when the iron is hot and move on to the next thing. And when I think about what DJ Sliqe is doing with the Bangerville series, I think that collaborative element is probably the most interesting part. Firstly, I just think that I think hip hop in South Africa could do with more togetherness. We could do with more groups working together. We could do with more, what do they call it? Crossovers. We could do with a lot more of that. People working together just to strengthen the foundation so that we can all rise up to, I say we, like I'm part of the, like I'm like in the industry. I'm just, but like, I mean, but like, you get what I mean, I feel like. The first, like, for example, the first Bangerville, it had already established the series, right, as a space for different South African hip hop artists to come together. We had Cape Town Xhosa rappers, we had Pitori rappers, we had guys from Gauteng, doing the regular mainstream stuff. But everybody came together. It was an amalgamation. It was a beautiful mixture, and it was fun. And Bangerville 2, I think, continues that idea with a much tighter group. It is all built around Blxckie, Sliqe, KindlyNxsh, and issi. So when I was trying to figure out whether this feels like a DJ Sliqe project, a collaborative crew EP, or basically a miniature Blxckie project curated by Sliqe, I realized I don't really think you have to choose. It's because I think it's all of these things, and I think all these things can be true because let's look at what each of these guys does. Blxckie creates, he's the anchor, like I mentioned previously. Sliqe creates the environment. Nash brings his own personality, his own versatility, his own style, his own swag. Issi gets a chance to absolutely lose his mind on some of these beats. And everybody, in my opinion, just benefits from everybody else being there. And then it becomes something else once they're all together. And this is probably what I would say is my favorite thing about Bangerville 2, the chemistry. The chemistry is the project. You can hear the room. You can imagine somebody laughing after, another person said something absurd. You can imagine someone hearing a flow and immediately wanting to jump on the beat, or everybody just losing their mind. You can even imagine, I feel like there might have been some competitiveness within that studio or whatever room they were just creating all of that. And like, okay, you just did that, and now I need to do something. I also need to do something. I have to show that I deserve to be on this level. But yeah, that feeling is very hip hop to me. There are obviously more deeper, more complicated sides to the genre, which I also love. Hip hop can be political, it can be personal, it can tell stories. It can document where we are as a society today, or where you as an individual come from. It can deal with themes like grief, poverty, ambition, identity, violence, love, whatever you wanna mention. It can deal with that. And sometimes hip hop can just be 4 dudes in a room just having a good ass time. And I think that deserves to be appreciated as well, because hip hop and music in general, like, it's allowed to feel good. You do know that, right? Like Sliqe T and Sliqe T enthusiasts, like, you do know that, right? Black Thought and Black Thought enthusiasts, all these, rapidy rap guys, you do understand that you are also allowed to enjoy it. And also, to add to that, it is also allowed to exist because the people making it enjoyed making it. And I think Bangerville 2 captures that feeling quite well, better than most projects that I've heard recently, which is why, again, I keep coming back to it. This is one of those EPs where I don't need to give you some complicated, convoluted, overly academic conclusion. I just fucking love it. I've loved it since I first heard it. I somehow like it even more now. I feel like I'm talking about a girl that I like. Understand That is my favorite song. Issi gives me, my favorite verse on Shake. Blxckie is, the anchor. Like I said, Kill Brady is there as well. Gives me one skip. It's fine. It's not allowed to be perfect. But you also have DJ Sliqe, who somehow, takes what sounds like one very productive night between friends and turns it into like a really good project, a project that I'm still playing, still months after it drops. I think that should be enough. Get your friends together, make the beat, say something funny, say something cool, rap your ass off for 14 minutes, go home, and you might make one of your favorite EPs. Anyways, what do you guys think of this album, this EP, Bangerville 2? Do you agree with what the things that I had said? Do you agree with my sentiments? Have you heard it? If you haven't, I would recommend listening to it. If you haven't, also subscribe to the channel. More reviews on the way. Thank you for supporting me if you have been. I really appreciate it. We are still in the construction phase of this channel, okay? We're still trying to construct an identity. We're dealing with a lot of equipment failures. Just sent my camera off for repairs. But you know what? If you're still watching and if you're still, supporting my channel, I appreciate that. Yeah, more content on the way for you guys.